Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 490 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined by my two faithful co-hosts, Stephen Kyle Brackey, Ben Askren, and a special guest today on the line, USA Wrestling World Team member Kayla Miracle, coming at us from lovely Campbellsville, Kentucky. Kayla, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
We're great. Happy to be here.
Outstanding.
So, obviously a somewhat drama-filled couple, I don't know if I want to say couple weeks, but at least this week it's kind of intensified, and the situation with women's wrestlers at the Hawkeye Wrestling Club has kind of come front and center of the wrestling discussion. Obviously, you have trained there for the last year and a half or so, and I guess the first question I have for you, Kayla, is what is your current status with the Hawkeye Wrestling Club?
So right now I'm actually, like you said, in Campbellsville, Kentucky. So I'm not really focused on training. Once all of this coronavirus stuff broke out, I was just getting home from Ottawa and qualifying the spot. So I took a drive, went to see some family down in Louisiana, and came up here just to hang out. And I'm just staying here until this quarantine stuff is over. But right now, Tom and I are on really good terms. Allie has mentioned the phone call, things like that. And I'm not here to call Allie a liar. I'm not calling a liar. Give my truth, my side of the story. And that's the only thing that I can really speak on. But as of right now, yeah, it's pretty clear. Tom mentioned all of us ladies are leaving. And I plan on following Perry down to Arizona State. So that's where I'm at, but I'm not even in Iowa, so I haven't been at my apartment in a bit, so figuring all that out.
Okay, so what was this phone call, this Zoom call we've heard so much about? What was the topic of what was said to you ladies?
It was just kind of speaking on there's some sort of a disconnect between athletes and coaches, and that we needed to reevaluate ourselves and kind of figure out why we're there and if we're there for the right reasons. So a lot of things that could be going on behind the scenes that I don't see. Mostly, I go to practice, and after practice, I go home and I hang out with my cat. That's all I do. And then I have my non-wrestling friends, so I'll hang out with them, but I don't hang out with Allie, Beck, and Forrest all that often. So I don't really know their lives or what they're doing or anything like that. So it's really hard for me to speak on what Tom might be mentioning. And I asked him, and he was pretty vague with me. But yeah, that we just need to reevaluate. We need to make sure for the right reasons we're showing respect, whatever. And that he loves us and he's always going to support us. But yes, he was going to pay us until August, which is when our leave. We have to decide by a certain day what we want and what we need to do to either continue there or else.
Okay. So would you say it was did you understand the characterization that you guys, or that you in particular, I won't ask you to speak on behalf of the other ladies because they're not here, but was that a fair characterization that you guys, or you in particular, weren't focused on the right things or needed to evaluate?
I don't think the conversation was directed at me at all. I've had a conversation with Tom, and he's always how much he loves me and how much he wants me to stay in Iowa as long as I want to be, and how much he wants to support me and how he's Team Kayla. So I don't think it was directed at me. It was a scary phone call, though. You don't like being told that you're wrong. And the only things that do better, when I'm more in the room rather than focusing on whatever I need to work on to make it a better environment for the Iowa program and then HWC and myself and my relationship with the coaches. So I'm definitely not perfect by any means, but I don't think anyone is, and I don't think anyone in that room really is. We've all got stuff to work on so we can be better for each other.
So it sounds to me, based on what you're describing, is that all the four of you are going to be leaving the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. Do you think that the Hawkeye Wrestling Club's dedication to women's wrestling has changed?
No, I think Tom loves me. He's called me multiple times throughout this quarantine, checking in on me. His wife texted me happy birthday, happy Easter, things like that. I'm part of their family. Even, one of the guys gave me a call telling me about a conversation he had with Tom and saying how much Tom really would like for me to stay and stay as long as I want, as long as I need, and how much I've benefited the program just by being around and getting to even just talk to them like before practice or whatever. Because I don't really hang out with them outside of practice, but so I know that I'm valued there and I'm appreciated there, and I don't think Tom is in any way saying he doesn't want women's wrestling in there. I think he just needs to, it's a business and he needs to make sure his business is running smoothly. And whether that's if I'm a clog in the machine or other people are, or if it's just a disconnect between personalities, that's where this could be coming from.
So
But
he,
I can't,
no, go ahead, Kayla.
I can't really speak on, any conversations that he might have had with Allie Forrester Beck. I'm not in there. I'm not even in the state. So Allie Forrester and Beck have a little gym in their garage. So they can work out there and they go and hang out. And they've been all kind of together during this whole thing. And I've been in my own little bubble. On my dad calls his property the compound. So I've been at the compound and
Nice.
living my own life. And really, like, a lot of you guys will send me DMs or whatever trying to ask for information, and I've been ignoring it. I've just been trying to ignore it. So, and I don't know what they've ever said to anyone until that interview or that podcast broke with Women Wrestle 2.
Okay, so hypothetically, had you decided, okay, I want to remain at the Hawkeye Wrestling Club based on what Coach Brands described to you, what would that have looked like for you to remain? Because it's like, all right, your checks are good, you're going to get paid through August, and then would you and Coach Brands have a conversation, be like, okay, I want to stay, I want to remain here for these reasons, and then he would say, okay, you're good to stay here? Is that kind of how he was positioning it, that he wanted it to go for you guys to remain there?
That's what I'm thinking. That's the understanding that I had from my situation. Because again, he had called me separately multiple times. So yeah, I feel if I wanted to stay, I would be covered. I would have money to pay rent. I would have money to buy groceries, things like that, and I would be taken care of. I don't think he would leave me high and dry. Um, but going on, there's the whole separate idea, separate Mark Perry's leaving. And I'm not leaving Iowa because I don't appreciate them or I don't love them or they haven't done so much for me already. I'm leaving because Mark Perry is my personal coach. And Tom, Terry, Telford, and Morningstar have all helped me in so many different ways. And even Burak, they've all helped me by either timing a match or helping me with technique, asking me how I'm doing, just, the smallest little things, they've all helped me. And I really appreciate them as people and as coaches. But Mark Perry is my personal coach, and he's the one that I want in my corner at Olympic trials. He's the one I want in my corner at the Olympics. And we have a plan, to do some great things. And I need to be with him. And if Arizona is where he's at, then I'll gladly go somewhere warm rather than face another Iowa winter, because those are not fun.
No kidding, no kidding. All right, I understand that. Do you anticipate as things begin to open back up and people are able to train again at universities, do you see Iowa bringing in different women's wrestlers?
I wouldn't be surprised. if they brought in more women that they and honestly, it's hard to survive in that room. Um, we had talked about us four girls a lot, and we'll go through the whole entire national team, and we're like, who could survive here? Who could train here and not break down completely? And we're like, we're struggling to come up with a list. We can't come up with people because it's tough mentally, it's tough physically. So if a girl could handle that, then yeah, I could see them going there because it's a great place to be. But you have to be pretty tough mentally to be able to do it.
Hey, so Kayla, have you guys already had, and I know you said you didn't really talk too much to the Michaela, Forrest and Allie, but I'm guessing that they're also feel the same way as you about Mark Perry. They're also going to Arizona State. I know Arizona State already has some women. Is Sunkiss, and you are Sunkiss already, I believe. So is Sunkiss going to fund all of that, or have you had those talks already, or what does it look like moving forward?
Mark Perry's in charge of that. So we're
Okay.
still trying to figure it all out. But I know Forrest and I had a conversation as soon as she found out about Perry leaving. She gave me a call and we had talked about it. And her and I are on the same page. We're both Team Perry. We both want him in our corner for life. And so we were like, we're going wherever. He can move overseas and we're going to follow him type thing. So there's that. And then with Allie and Beck, I didn't know until we had a separate call with us four and Perry on it as well. So
Got it.
Well, cool.
Okay.
Well, I guess Kayla, are there any other thoughts or any other things that you think are not being said or need said, or characterizations you'd like to give, or just anything at all before we let you go?
no, I think that's pretty much it. The whole idea that Hawkeye Wrestling Club is cutting the women's funding, I don't believe that's true at all. Everything just kind of broke out at the same time, so it gives it a really bad look. I don't think Tom Brands is against women's wrestling. I don't think Allie's a liar at all, because everybody has their own truth. Tom Brands has his truth, Allie has her truth, I have my truth, and I can see both sides. I can see where that confusion is and the frustration is with Allie, and I can see why Tom would be doing something to like work on his business. So I don't think anyone's the bad person in here, the bad guy. It's frustrating. Had Perry not gotten a new job, you told after this date you're not going to be receiving checks, or like he didn't say that. He said we're paying you until this time, and then we'll figure things out type thing within this period. But yeah, so it would have been really tough if Perry hadn't gotten the job and us not know where to go. Because at that point, yeah, it could seem like we're not welcome there. But I think in the end, Tom Brands has my back. I think he's Team Kayla. I think if I'm at Olympic trials and something crazy happens where Mark Perry's coaching over here and my dad's coaching over here and Chun can't coach me because she's a national team coach and everybody else that I know is busy, I can go and talk to Tom, Terry, Telford, or Morningstar and be like, hey, can you jump in my corner for this match? And I know without a doubt they would jump in and help coach me and do everything they could to help me achieve my goals. So I think they're Team Kayla, and I think they're just doing what they have to do, and it's a business, but I think they still support and love women's wrestling, and they still love.
Well, that's great. It's also great that, as you mentioned, you have qualified USA 62 kilograms for the Olympic Games. So thank you for that. That's awesome.
Yes.
And obviously your timelines all got shifted with everything going on, and now you're gonna know that you're gonna be qualified, and your weight is qualified for a year. Are you excited that you can just zero in on one date, the Olympic trials now?
Oh, yeah, that makes my life so much easier. I really wish I would have done it at the World Championships and made it to the semifinals, that would have made my life even more easier, more easy. There we go. Because getting ready for Pan Ams, that was not fun. There was a lot of stress and a lot of pressure there because we're your last chance tournament and roll the dice there. So yeah, there were a lot of nerves going on right around then, and got through it, got the job done, avenged a few losses, actually 2 losses from my past. So that was really nice. Yeah, it's nice. And then now I'm sitting in the finals because that's our process, the women,
Right.
unless things change because of the corona. I'm signed out of 3, so I need to be of hard wrestling. But I'm hoping it's going to be 12, and I'm actually hoping it's going to be less than that. I want to go out there. I want to put a stamp on it. I want to make my team and go get the job done in Tokyo. So.
Well, heck yeah. Well, Kayla, appreciate you hopping on this morning. Means a lot. We're looking forward to watching you over the next year.
Yeah,
anything else before we let you go back to the compound?
I don't think so. But thanks for having me on, and I hope that cleared up things for everyone and everybody's chill.
All right, we'll leave with that. We're gonna chill.
All
Thank
right.
you, Kayla. I think you did a lot.
Thank you, Kayla.
Of
Appreciate
help
it.
there. Thanks.
Sweet.
All right, Beet Juice, Ben Askren.
I finished it. It was done.
Your teeth were turning.
Stained.
Oh yeah, beet stained teeth. You look like a shroot baby. Okay. All right. Are we feeling like?
I don't know.
Feeling chill? I'm feeling more chill. You're less chill.
I'm annoyed. You know what? I started. So I was trying to. The process I went through yesterday is like, let me get the information. Let me figure out what actually happened here, Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just felt like, hey, we weren't getting the whole story. I did my best. I talked to a lot of people. At the end of the day, I thought about, what are we even arguing about? I mean, me personally, whatever. I'm on no side at all. But what are these idiots on Twitter mad about? What are they mad about? And so I said, okay, is it that the Hawkeye Wrestling Club is not supporting women? Well, they've actually been the biggest supporter of women wrestling for the last couple of years. There hasn't been another major college RTC with 4 women at them, so it can't be that. Is it that it's these specific girls that people on Twitter are mad about? Well, I mean, every RTC has personnel come and go, right? That's simple. That happens all the time. Is it that Tom Brands and the Hawkeye Wrestling Club, is it that they somehow misled these girls into saying you're going to get this, and when they got there, they got something else, which has happened, not in this situation, but it's happened other places. And none of those things appear to be all that true. And so I think really what it comes down to is Tom Brands has had very ineffective communication on this topic, and that's it. Other than that, I don't really see what anyone can be mad about.
Well, no, I understand what you're saying. I think it's one of your first points is what people are upset about. And yes, while it is undeniable the Hawkeye Wrestling Club has been a leader in women's wrestling, no matter how much good you do there, if there's a perception, true or not, fair or not, which it seems like it would be an unfair characterization that they don't support women. But if you change, if you shift from that, from the perception of the absolute leader to the perception becomes you told 4 highly successful, highly competitive women's wrestlers, you're good through July and that's it, which is not exactly what is actually being said. But that on its own would make people say, well, that's actually not really cool. But that's also not necessarily the case. But what is actually the case doesn't always matter, right? What is actually true doesn't always matter because, some people just have it in their mind they're going to get outraged. And Iowa's an easy target for people to get mad at. It's like there's a lot of people that just they have it out for Iowa and would paint Iowa and Coach Brands in a negative light regardless of what is or isn't true.
Yeah. And obviously I haven't been the biggest Iowa supporter over the years, although I was, I was backing them this year on their title run, obviously. This is really simple. Let me just be Coach Brands' spokesman for a second. Can I do that, Christian?
I'm not granting you that permission. I'm giving you permission to speak. I'm not going to say you are Tom Brand's official spokesperson.
Okay, I'm Tom Brand's official spokesperson. Ask me, Christian. Ask me if we cut women's wrestling.
Ben Askren, did the Hawkeye Wrestling Club cut women's wrestling?
Well, I mean, here's what happened, Christian. At this point in time, we have in fact cut funding for women's wrestling. We had made the decision to support 4 women over the last couple of years, and for a myriad of reasons, which I don't really want to get into, it didn't really work out with 3 of the 4. And so, therefore, technically, we are cutting women's wrestling. That being said, if we find the right fit, we would still love to support women's wrestlers. It just is not going to work out for the time being.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily what he's saying. Tom Brand said they'd be welcome. He said they'd be welcome back.
I understand, but what people are getting mad about is the headline says, this big, bold headline says, we are not cutting funding for women's wrestling. And the fact of the matter is that last year they were paying 4 women. This year, now Kayla's not staying, but they made an offer to pay 1 woman. So a salary of 4 versus salary of 1, that's technically cutting funding, right?
Well, technically.
Yeah.
Maybe, but no, but not if all right, we have a line item on our budget. All right, I'm the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. I don't know how their finances work. No, hold on, Ben.
There's no way they do it by sex.
No,
by gender.
Maybe they do. Well, maybe they do. Maybe they do. Maybe they say, you know what, it is important to us that we're leaders in women's wrestling, and we are allocating $10,000 a month, fake number, for women's wrestling. And that number may or may not have changed, and that's what they're going to try to do. And if there's no, if Allie, Forrest, Beck, and Kayla are not there, they'll say, okay, well, we'll get some new ones. And maybe there's a period of time where they don't have those women.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it remains to be seen. They could not fill that spot with 4 different women's. They're going to be hard-pressed to find 4 that are as good as those 4. I know that much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to find people that are that highly ranked on the ladder that are available to come train, that want to leave wherever they're at and go. So, yeah, it's going to be super tough to fill those 4 spots. So, I just feel like I kind of feel like this situation is a whole bunch of shenanigans, drama, and that they should have just communicated more effectively. Because at the end of the day, Hawkeye Wrestling Club had 4 really good women the last couple of years. Indiana Wrestling Club, I think their number is 0. Oklahoma State, I think their number is 0. I can't think of anyone that Minnesota has. And so why is Iowa getting crucified for allegedly not supporting women's wrestling when they were the biggest supporter? It's just shenanigans.
Yeah, no, that's an absolute fact. That's a fact. And, and my thought was, as the momentum for women's wrestling to become a Division I sport it was trending the right way, right? So that you would think it's going to be an asset to have a fully developed RTC or close to it, and no one had anything close to what Iowa had in terms of RTC. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully we don't have to talk about this anymore.
Seriously, right?
Yeah, it's not exactly a fun topic of conversation. Is Facebook okay, Bracky? I see you monitoring the comment section.
No, Facebook's good.
Okay, great. We're in good graces with Zuckerberg. Okay. Well, that was good. Again, and I appreciate Kayla coming on and giving us what I believe is very, very straight, clear communication. Hey, cool thing. I think this is cool. I know Ben Askren is going to think this is cool.
Uh-oh.
The NCAA is moving to allow students to profit off their name, image, and likeness beginning the 21-22 season. Athletes can't, quote, receive compensation for third-party endorsements and other areas like social media, personal businesses, and appearances.
Yes, that's so awesome.
It's great, right?
So awesome.
It's kind of amazing that that the counter to that has been true for any period of time, but it has been basically the entire time.
And that people get so mad when you bring it up, Christian. This has been a personal cause of mine for many years now. People get irate when you say this. No, they're getting so much money. They're getting their scholarship. Shut up.
Well, one thing I will say, Well, one thing I do balk at is the idea that an NCAA athlete should be paid. I disagree with that. Yeah,
I think it's a separate discussion.
it is a separate discussion, but they are often coupled together. And to me, they couldn't be more different.
Sure. And I try to decouple them because I say, here's this one thing that should be done for sure. I don't want to pair it with this other thing that's highly controversial because I don't want to muddy the water. Let's get this one thing done that should be done that's so obvious to me. And then once we get this one thing done, then we can start maybe discussing the other thing, which is significantly more controversial. But when so for me, I don't want to put them together because when we put them together, that gives people a lot more leverage to say, well, no, you shouldn't do that. So in my opinion, I keep it separate. Athletes should be paid, should have been paid for well. Marcus Hayne was slanging some T-shirts in the parking lot at Auburn Hills before the finals in 2007, so I broke some NCAA rules, but I figured there was no way they were going to suspend me before the finals.
Oh, my gosh. That would have been bad. So, yeah, I mean, to me, they are coupled because I think they are rooted in the same thing. But I think one of them is preposterous, the idea that, okay, I'm on an NCAA roster, so I should get money. Like, that is insane because that almost – that goes – well, yes, hold on. That goes back to almost what you were saying yesterday about or it was yesterday or it was Tuesday. It's charity, right? You're not making money. You are not making money.
Well,
the vast majority of them don't make money.
Well,
the vast majority. I would say
I would never argue
98% of NCAA athletes do not generate income for the institution.
Well, there's no way it's 98%, Christian, because the football team is at 85 spaces, 85 scholarships.
Every football player, just because you're on the football team doesn't mean that you individually are.
It's like less than 10 football players that are generating.
Yeah,
money.
you're crazy.
Correct.
I mean, okay, so less than 10 football players on the team. So yeah,
but
98% would be a low estimate. It's probably higher.
You got to let me speak here, Christian.
All right.
Because Kyle, I think you're wrong on this one. Because if the football team sucks, even the stars can't generate revenue. The football team can't be good unless they have a whole bunch of people filling in the spots. So even though the left tackle might not generate money himself, unless the left tackle blocks for the quarterback and the running back, the team can't be profitable. They'll be 4-7 out of a bowl game. They're not going to make money. The teams who are 9-2, 10-2, those are teams that are making money. And so ipso facto, you would say that team that is making money, therefore, maybe there's a very low salary paid for an offensive lineman. But then again, there's some offensive linemen in the NFL making gigantic salaries, aren't there?
Well, that would be completely different. That's a professional league that is making money, that is based on
NCAA football is making money, Christian.
Some
NCAA football, some. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of them are not. A lot of them are hemorrhaging money. Yeah. A lot of them are the reason Old Dominion. Old Dominion is a financial disaster. Can you imagine if they had to pay athletes too? Their program is hemorrhaging money. Eastern Michigan, a joke football team, right? That's the problem. Yeah, okay, you can point to Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson. Sure, it is unquestionable those are money-making machines, but they are so the exception and not the rule. And you can't base an entire broad sweeping. Pick a sport. They don't make money.
You're fired up now, Christian. I love it.
Well, it's because I don't think people think. People are like, oh, they work hard. And then they post this thing. I get up at 6 a.m. and I work out and then I go to school and then I have practice. Like, okay. That does not mean you are working hard. That does not mean you are making something. You're driving income for the organization.
But some of those are. And so, I mean, if you would want to go
it's such a
deep
small
into,
percentage, Ben. You could take
Christian,
entire
hold on.
sports.
If you want to go deep into this argument, and I think where it would end up is, well, most of NCAA athletics would end up being just men's basketball and men's football, which, that's not where I want it to end up. But I think that's where you could go if you want to talk about just the viability of certain programs. So, again, I don't like getting to that argument because it distracts from the argument that we're having at the beginning, which I think is the easier argument to win, is that NCAA athletes should be able to earn money on their likeness and image. So let's get back to that one because I think that's one that's going to happen, and that's one that is more relevant. So are we all in favor of this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Of course.
There's gonna be a bunch of
there we go.
guidelines like you can't wear your school's logo.
Yeah.
I don't think it can be to promote anything this like if you're the way I read it is like if your school's a Coke school, I don't think you can like promote Coke for them or whatever.
Or not Coke.
Or
Right.
you probably can't promote opposite. I mean, that's what the mixed martial arts organizations used to say is here's our sponsor in this category, right? You can't have someone else competing with us in that category.
But here's where it gets sticky. I mean, the Nike. So, I mean, if you're a Nike school, you have to be sponsored by Nike. Then I mean, that's one of the big endorsers or the apparel companies. What about media? Can
Hey,
we
I got
pay?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
I got an anonymous question
Okay.
via text message. They said if and you know, I think we had this question in the doc. Not this question, a similar question in the doc. And someone asked me if the NCAA decides to cut the RTCs, do they think that will open the door for some type of professional league where, you know, the essentially what was the old RTCs can then maybe duel each other or something? And I believe there was a question in the doc that said, you know, what does here it is. Describe the ideal pro wrestling league. How does it get started?
Well,
Talk about that or no?
Yeah, let's do it. I put it in there. Some questions are broad and interesting enough that they can have their own segments and don't have to fall into that. So Omega Mattis asked about the ideal pro wrestling league, and I don't see how shutting down the RTCs impacts this to the good or bad. I think it's such a long. Everyone's idea for a pro wrestling league seems to involve calling the billionaires and millionaires of a sport and just having them pay for it instead of like starting small and building something that actually makes money.
Yes.
Whereas basically you're just asking for more charity. Please fund this.
Yeah.
Please fund this not money making thing. That thing that is not proven can generate income.
So I mean, I obviously, so I'm gonna both agree and push back at the same time. I did it. I tried it twice and failed both times. And I don't believe out of the 9 total events that I ran, I don't believe we had one that made money. That being said, there's a lot of professional leagues and or other business ventures which need essentially a runway to get going, right? And so they raise money and then they spend money in hopes that 3, 4, 5 years down the road, they're going to, you know, do one of these numbers, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it could look like that if, say, you know, someone wealthy or a bit, you know, a wealthy business funded the venture for a while. And then, you know, it took 2 to 3 years to really get going. Because I think that's really, in my estimation, what it would take. It would take, it's not going to be booming year one. It's going to take 2, 3, 4, 5 years or seasons to build something up where people are excited about it. Because the one thing I always got, and it was fair, is that, well, this match doesn't really matter. And well, the truth of it, well, you're right, it doesn't really matter. But also in the beginning of some other things, they probably felt like they didn't matter either, right? And it takes time to build up something into something that really matters.
Yeah, I agree. I think you need to start small with cards. I don't like the idea of like having teams, right, and duels and all that and championship. I think that's like, sure, that's very that's a utopia. It's not going to happen.
Well, let's go, Christian. Let's go right in the question. What is what's your ideal wrestling league look like?
Well, I don't know, but I don't think about this a lot. I just think about like what is possible in the near term and then what you could build on. What you can do in the near term is have small cards that are interesting on a regular basis, right? And then build on it, right? Start with a couple matches, pay the athletes well, have that work, build the economy around that until you get to something more. And then maybe start entering a UFC type of situation where, all right, now we have a belt, right? All right, you're the 65 kilogram champion for whatever, the Flow Premier League, RIP.
Yeah.
And then you have that, and then, all right, now there's a title fight. Now it's whatever. I think that's interesting. But if you look at the belt,
but it would take time.
Think about UFC, Ben, though. Like, it's not that the belt is on the line that drives the buys. Okay.
Ooh, I think people would push back a little bit, but
I really don't. I think. Listen, all right, point blank, no belt on the line. Conor McGregor versus Diaz. That is going to be huge. Okay, whether there's a belt or not, it's the personalities. It's the matchup.
Agreed.
It is not the belt.
Yeah.
It's not the belt. Period. And maybe
the
for a
belt
few friends.
The belt helps promote something. It's the same reason. Why did they put a stupid belt up with Masvidal and Diaz? Because it added to the allure of the event, right?
But it's totally fake. It's a non-existent thing.
But it matters.
Anyway, we could make go ahead.
I don't totally disagree with you. I think you're definitely right, but I think that the belt does matter a little bit, and that's one of those where you have to build. I said like season 1, 2. It doesn't matter. People are, what's this? It doesn't matter. But once you build some context around that belt, and in all cases it doesn't matter, Christian, right? But I would argue to you that Conor McGregor wouldn't be the star he is today if people didn't follow his run to the belt. Right, beating Jose Aldo. I guess so. He won the interim belt, I believe, against Chad Mendez. Him beating Chad Mendez and then beating Jose Aldo that's what gave him this meteoric rise to stardom. Just as hey, if I would beat Masvidal and I win the belt, my rise is much larger than it was. Right, so you do have to, that achievement of that belt definitely gives something. But so I would say. It does matter, but it's not everything like some people want to say it is.
Well, a couple things. One, there's a reason you were traded for Demetrius, right? All he has done is win, basically.
Yeah.
He did lose Sudo. But he did everything that you described there. He's not interesting. He's not an interesting person. Okay? Conor McGregor.
I don't get that. I always found
he's not interesting to people. I think he's fine.
I know. I couldn't. I didn't ever get how people I didn't ever get how he couldn't catch on. I always loved him.
Sure, but it just didn't happen for whatever reason. There are wrestling personalities that I don't understand why these people aren't. I have a list of several guys. I'm like, this should be like the most popular wrestler in the world right now, and they just aren't. They just, no matter how much we do about them or whatever, they're just not popular wrestlers. I can't explain.
It's so weird.
Some of it I can explain. I can explain like why certain guys are very popular. I can't understand why some certain guys or girls are not. Now, what I was gonna say is there was absolutely nothing interesting. There's nothing on the line between Mayweather and McGregor, and it did 4.3 million pay-per-view buys. Right? There's nothing on the line, and you could say that McGregor's his ascent to the belt is what contributed to why he's so popular now. But really, it's just that he started facing better competition. He started getting more spotlight. And the more he was talking in front of people, the more people were interested in seeing how this story ends, right? It's not necessarily it's not necessarily that he is achieving the belt. It is interesting he got the 2 belts, but it's the way he speaks. It's how interesting he is that really does it. So for that reason, I'm saying you don't really need for these cards, make an interesting thing. Ben Askren, you wrestled Jordan Burroughs. It meant nothing. It's one of the biggest matches ever. It had national media exposure. There's never been in Jordan Burroughs' last 8 years, I don't think he's wrestled a less significant match, but it was probably one of his most watches, if not his most watched match ever.
I think it was his most watched.
It was his most watched match ever, and it never made. So it's not about the belt.
You're welcome, Jordan.
There you go. Well timed.
Hey, can I tell you what my ideal scenario is?
Absolutely.
Although it's unlikely. So I tried doing the UFC type card thing twice. Again. Failed on both accounts. And I think, I think I thought too small, Christian. And I don't know that this is a possibility at this point in time. Maybe it's when Bitcoin goes to 10 million, I can go make it happen. But I think it has to be something more like the AT, American tennis professionals or whatever their tour is called. Mm-hmm. And if for example, if you had these majors and you did it over the whole world, right? I think you could build a bunch of stars worldwide. Chamizo, I think, is a star. I think you could build some stars out of Russia, some stars out of Iran. And you had this thing where they were actually competing. Because one of the things that's hard with the Russians or some Israelis, they might compete twice a year. Like you never see them.
Yeah.
And so you create some type of system where you're going to see them, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 times. And obviously, what makes a tennis player show up? Well, probably in the golf, right? Golf does something similar. Money, right? They show up because they want to get paid. And so I think that's what you would have to create is something to that extent. And I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I think it definitely includes people all over the world. And, somehow we're going to have to wrestle power away from I will have to wrestle power away from the UWW.
Okay. So a big complication in this is athletes knowing and not knowing their value, right? Like it's really,
correct, yeah.
It's you offer guys to wrestle for more than they've ever been paid to wrestle a match in their entire life, and they don't think it's adequate compensation. $5,000, $10,000, not enough for some of these guys to do a match when they wrestle for free all the time. So that's what makes it also tough.
Because it doesn't matter.
Because
right?
it doesn't matter.
And a lot of them, they don't have the vision to see, yes, I am going to have to be one of these initial people who lead the charge to make this something. It's not going to be something for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, but I need to help lead the charge, right? Because we only do have, like you said, Christian, we only have so many stars, and it is hard to build stars. We said about DJ, how DJ could never catch on. It was unfathomable to me. I didn't get it. I thought he was likable. I thought he was interesting. I thought he was well spoken. I thought he was an exciting fighter. Like why he wasn't a superstar, I could never figure it out. I really couldn't. I thought he had everything to make a star, and he just couldn't catch on. And and you guys know, you guys see the numbers. You freaking put up a picture of effing Nick Soriano with the shirt off today. It's going to do 10 times as many likes and views as a lot of other people.
Yeah, that's
very
very true. Kyle
If you do
Brackey.
DeSanto, it'll do 50x.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. It's just, it's true. Okay, so it's an interesting discussion. Obviously, I think it would be great if we did have more professionalization here. Certainly, FloWrestling wants to be a part of and has been a part of paying athletes money to compete and work with us, and we want to keep doing it because we think that's great. Bracky has Steve-O's school list. I don't know if he wants to step on his article yet, but it's pretty interesting.
Screw it. So these are not his final 5. These are the 5 he's talked to the most, and he did.
Wait, the 5 he's talked to under what? How did he qualify that? Did he number of phone calls or length of phone calls?
That's what I'm assuming. It's just like who's called him, texted him, FaceTimed him, sent text messages. He did say that he's not ruling any school out that maybe enters the picture late. These are just the 5 he's talked to the most. But in alphabetical order, Lehigh, NC State, Ohio State, Oklahoma State, Penn State.
So the obvious connection, the obvious one is NC State with the Papalizio connection. He's been coached by Frank for years, and Pat's the head coach at NC State.
They are brothers?
They are brothers. Thoughts on that school list? Who needs Steve-O the most, Benjamin?
Well, I would say Penn State, but they stopped recruiting 125-pounders, so we'll just take them off the list. I think the one that makes the most sense, obviously, is NC State. They seem to not only have the Papalizio connection, there seems to be a lot of, and it is because of Papalizio, but this adds to it. There's a lot of New York kids there, which that always makes you feel more comfortable when there's kids you either grew up with or knew or watched. That obviously makes you more comfortable. But is Camacho a lifetime 25? No one seems to be a lifetime 25, but I feel like maybe he is. I don't know.
It's hard to say with guys, but out of these schools, they're the school with the
best option.
Yeah, the best option at 125 that still has plenty of time left. Like Paetzel's back for one more year for Lehigh, but he'll be gone as Steve-O's graduating.
Yeah.
And Camacho's got 3 years left. In Ohio State, you have Heinzelman. But they don't have anyone in the class of 2020. They don't have anyone committed in the class of 2021 that's a 25-pounder.
What about Jacob Decatur?
He's there, but he's not a better option than Malik Heinzelman right now.
Yeah. Decatur's solid guy, but I think he's just he's not the level of Steve-O.
And at Oklahoma State, they're probably looking at Jason Burks next year, or Master Giovanni if he can make it. But that feels like a tough cut and maybe a 1-year thing, if it is. And then at Penn State, I think it depends on what Robbie Howard does. Does he go 25?
Yeah.
And does he go right away? But if he goes there, you could be looking at a logjam if Howard stays at 25.
Yeah.
Because then you have RBY at 33. You have Bo Bartlett in the mix too. So,
although Roman, only has 2 years left, right?
Yeah.
So technically, he may not step on it. I don't think it'll get too crowded down there. I mean, Teskey's gone, so I think he fits at any of those schools. But I think as far as like glaring needs, big need for Ohio State, in my opinion, to be determined with Oklahoma State with Jason, and to be determined if I think Robbie is a great option at 25 if he'll go 25 and can make it.
Absolutely.
But also, how long is Robbie long for 25, right? Maybe is he a 1-year stopgap type of guy, and then he'll go 33, or can he handle it for good? You really don't know.
He's taken all. He's going to take all 5 visits. He's been to NC State. He's been to Ohio State. But he's not going to make a decision anytime soon because right now they have the in-person recruiting ban till at least May 31st. And I know most of these schools try to get kids for football games in the fall. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, he's going to be go ahead.
So, some colleges have even shut down their everything all summer. So, how far out his visits are, I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't have dates set up or anything yet.
Now, if you don't know, Steve-O became famous 10 years ago when
a long time ago
video of him dropped of him just hitting ridiculous technique and just massacring like 6-year-old kids as a 6-year-old with a mohawk who had like guns and stuff. And I actually remember this vividly, that I think it was a tweet from Ben Askren where he said, this guy is hitting like D1 level technique at this point, but I doubt he'll still be interested in the sport, or wonder if he'll still be into the sport as he enters on. So what are your thoughts now after that thing went viral to right now with Steve-O?
Yeah. Well, so it's so funny about that is there was this company that sponsored me called Cage Hero all the way back then, and they had this strange concept which I didn't really love, but it's a long story. I'll just explain it before getting into the whole story.
Go ahead.
Where they're going to bring in these youth prodigies, and they're going to do kind of some things around them, make them like young superheroes, whatever. And I actually got to meet Steve-O, right? Because once the video went viral, they contacted him. And the dad and the mom, they were just fantastic. And Steve-O was mature beyond his years, even as a young kid. And then, I've probably done 4 or 5 things for Frank Popolizio, so I would get to, revisit and see them every once in a while when I went up there. And I kind of really just liked the dad and mom a lot. I thought the kid was awesome. And so, a lot of it for me is how, when I watch the interaction between the dad and the kid, that's a huge one for me. So once I saw that, I thought, okay, this dad actually kind of has it figured out. I think this is going to be interesting to watch this play out. And obviously he's became kind of a superstar.
Yep. I hadn't met Steve-O's father until Who's Number One. And yeah, I completely agree. Nice guy. They've got it together. And so, yeah, it's been cool to manage like a kind of a prodigy, and keeping his love for the sport high.
Yeah.
And obviously he's become pretty dang good, one of the top ranked.
About stars too, like he does numbers.
Yeah, they love Steve-O.
People like Steve-O.
They like Steve-O.
Well, people are attracted to prodigies for whatever. If you can think about other sports, like a Tiger Woods obviously was a prodigy of golf. People like he did bigger numbers than anyone ever. You think of LeBron James, again, prodigy in basketball. People love prodigy. Pico's a great one. People love prodigies. Mark Hall would be another one. And I don't know exactly what it is around there. There's something about the potential that they possess, or something that people are just drawn to kids who are prodigies in whatever sport they're in. And I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, it is fascinating. But yeah, they absolutely are. Okay, we did that. Oh, it's semi-time
It's semi-time.
for the best. Of
What
the
do you
best.
guys? If one of you guys drops a landmine on Kyle Dake, I'm gonna call him right now and bring him on the show and let him go nuts on you.
So I have a thought. I don't know how this is gonna play out, but it would be funny if we did it again. But we had them on, and they had to have a cordial, like almost like parliamentary procedure
gonna
type of
happen.
debate. Yeah, take.
Wait, you're telling me we're gonna control Kyle Dake and Jordan Burroughs?
Maybe they would agree to it.
Like they might start at first, then one of them would disagree with something they said, and it would just turn into what it was last
Dang
time.
it. Okay, so it's not gonna
Yes.
happen.
I don't think unless like there's some way we could have mute buttons where hey, you get 90 seconds, the other person is muted. They get their 90-second argument. They go on mute. Then the other one gets 90 seconds. But if we have it like last time, there's no way we're controlling those gentlemen. It's impossible.
Well, that would be my thought. Like we've got the mute button. We'll mute them. Just like a presidential debate. Actually, they don't mute them there, but moderate.
I feel like they really need to be on at separate times.
Separate times.
Yeah.
I know. Gosh.
It was
Yeah.
a
guest moderator.
I don't think
suggested
a guest moderator. I don't think
Look,
I
if
don't think
Ben
anyone
can't
can
control
those guys.
Yeah.
I gave up right away.
We get
I gave up.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's start on the bottom.
Who do they
half.
respect? Kale or John Smith? John Smith might be able to control him.
That could help. Yeah, could be John. All right. Bottom. Jordan Burroughs.
Wait,
Go.
well, hold on. Did you guys already pick Dake? Did I miss that?
No. I just said let's start on the bottom side because
Oh, okay. I missed
really
that.
interested in this Twitter poll, and Bo Nichols sent a tweet out as the show was going on.
Oh, what'd he say?
He did.
Yeah, he did. Hang on, let me pull it up here. I don't know why I didn't have it up. But Bo Nickel quote tweeted our poll and said, "Come on, people, Jordan is great, but I think I got this one. Too many bonus points."
That is the case for Bo Nickel. Bonus points. He was a prolific pinfall wizard.
Oh my goodness.
What?
He's beating him on Twitter now.
Yeah, I know.
That's totally egregious.
That's why I wanted to start with that one.
All right, Ben, get
Christian's
it started.
So mad.
Get it started. I'm not mad.
Oh. I think Burroughs is going to win. If we make them the same size, Burroughs is going to win this. He's going to get in and clean on attacks. He's really smart strategically. He's not going to get into situations where Bo is really, really dangerous, over under type situations. He's not going to get in there. He's going to get in quick, clean, finish, get his points, get out, win the match.
Steven, Kyle, Bracky.
Yeah, I'm taking Jordan.
I don't. Yeah, it's Jordan. I mean, Bo Nickel, all due respect, should he have even made it to this point? If you hadn't landmined Logan Stieber like a scoundrel.
Well, listen, Bo Nickel pinned him in a cradle. I don't know what you want from me.
I love that. That was my favorite part of the Kyle Dake Jordan Burroughs thing, where you just acted like, I'm sorry, Jordan, he rode you out. What do you want me to say? You acted like it actually happened. You're like, Jordan, it's not my fault he rode you. It's like, no, you made that up. That's a thing. But you were like pretending that was real.
It was real to me, damn it.
Okay,
reference.
that's a great pull by Ben. Okay, so Jordan Burroughs is in the finals, and he's going against David Taylor because it's landmine, baby.
That's trash.
No!
Absolute
Kyle Dake's going to be
garbage
so
trash.
mad at you. Kyle Dake is going to be so mad at you.
That's absolute trash.
So mad. Come on.
You can't landmine someone
Why-
when they're like
That's
15-0 in every style against them.
I think David
Come on,
actually beat him
Kyle.
in Greco. What can we
Are we
do?
going back to junior high?
Did he really in junior high or something?
At Fargo, I think.
It was alleged. It was discussed in My Best Rival as a.
He placed higher than him in the bracket, and I think they were arguing over if they actually wrestled.
Well, no, there was talk of a leg foul.
Oh, okay.
Remember that? Dake said that basically he rolled through. He did something with legs and beat Dake and Greco, but there was like a definite leg foul in Dake's mind. Of course, the match doesn't like exist on video as far as I know. But yeah, Kyle's mad. I was mad too. You could have landmined it.
I couldn't have. I didn't know.
I already used my
You just
landmine.
said it. That's not really fair.
Okay.
Well,
I
that's
was
what you
thinking
gotta
about
do.
landmining it the other way to prevent you from doing it, and you were just like, "Okay, top out." You just said he's gonna be facing this person in the finals. We didn't set up the match.
Okay.
You just said it.
Okay, so let's come up with some. We have to.
We can't now.
you
landmine. The place is
he's
exploded. You can't put the explosion back together.
You're right. That is the one problem with
You did it
landmines.
just so Jordan will win.
But here's the problem. We
might
already
not.
had Jordan versus David also.
I can't help it. What do you want? We already
You
had
gonna do that
Dave
match
for-
again?
No man wants a veto. We need an act of Congress. This is horse crap. Take outscored him in their Fargo match, but Taylor won 2 out of 3 periods.
That's how. There. That for me is Exhibit A.
Oh my god.
Man.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well,
Well,
the
what?
one that came up with landmines to start with.
Yeah. And then it backfired on me previously, so I made it. Made something happen. Spice it up a little bit. Maybe David Taylor will emerge.
Did you make an agreement with Jordan Burroughs to use your landmine on Kyle Dake because he was scared for the finals?
No, he welcomes the challenge.
I cannot wait to put out this David Taylor versus Jordan Burroughs poll, and then everyone be like, "What the hell? Kyle Dake won."
It's kind of funny though. That's the main reason I did it. It's pretty funny. It's totally fake, and that people would get upset about a totally fake thing. I mean, you're upset.
No,
I
I
was
think
upset.
you're mad that we overruled you on the last Kyle Dake versus Jordan Burroughs. I think you're a little bit mad about that.
100% what it is.
That's isn't it? Tell him, Bracky.
Well, wait.
It
What?
is.
Why would I? Yeah. So I know how you guys are gonna vote. So I'm manipulating it based on the rules that we all agreed to.
Okay, right now, Bracky and Piles, you need to go a takedown for who gets to use the landmine.
Oh my gosh, that
'cause,
went up.
Yeah, I mean, Bracky's wife was asking for you to wrestle him anyways.
Yeah. So
I've been getting just bored in the apartment, so I don't know. She's just walking by. I
Yeah.
like to try to, not like foot
Yeah.
sweep her to knock her down, but just like get the foot good. So like I'll try to like do that to her.
I don't want to
Yeah.
knock her all the way down, just to get her off balance a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly. Just to be like, oh, that was a good one. I got you there.
yeah. No, it's been.
I do it to CP in the office sometimes.
As Jim Harbaugh says, the human body craves contact.
That's right.
Right? So, like, we are just
Yes.
born with this innate desire for this, especially me. So, yeah, it's like, you can grab her, you hand fight a little bit. Yeah, it's part of a healthy marriage, guys. It's fine. But no, if Kyle Bracky and I went takedowns, then it'd be a very different thing.
And
But
Kyle Dake would be in the finals.
we didn't do that. Those weren't the rules of the game. Were you going to landmine the other way? Or were you going to let due process play out? You're going to sit
I
on
was trying to like survey the situation to see if you were going to be a complete psychopath like you were. Because I was going to make sure Kyle Dake was in the finals if I thought that's where you're going, and then all of a sudden you just put Taylor in the finals without like setting up the matchup.
Oh. Well,
And
I really
that's another
want.
reason why I wanted to like start with the bottom side, because I thought that would set up the top side. You'd like have to do a setup to be like, oh, okay, and now on the top side.
What if David Taylor upsets Jordan Burroughs in the finals?
It could happen.
I thought we can't landmine.
Could
the
happen.
finals.
You can't landmine, but it
Well,
could be an
no, but-
upset. Listen, he'll probably win the poll.
But the people could raise up against the authoritarian dictator Christian Piles and make it happen.
You took a 4-time champ out who was probably more dominant than the guy you had him beat by.
Well, he got cradled.
He's just like, oh, it's not my fault. He got cradled.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, that's the best part of it. Okay.
I'm trying to find the poll from because these two, Taylor and Burroughs, hit in the best of the 165-pound decade. So I'm trying to find that poll to see.
It was the semifinals. I don't remember who picked. I picked Taylor. What'd you pick, Bracky?
I picked Burroughs.
Piles picked Burroughs. Picked Burroughs. Did we go to Nomad or no?
That's why I need to find the poll. I can't. I'll find it. Y'all can.
Okay, let's go. Questions from friends. We've been neglecting our friends lately, Christian.
I know we didn't get to address them yesterday, so let's get to it. Yes, as Olivia Brackey wants Kyle and I to wrestle here. They took the mats out, so we can't do it. And we probably wouldn't anyways.
They tried to take all our fun away here.
I know.
They locked the conference room.
We do have a Bowflex now, though. I don't know. Have we talked about that someone had a Bowflex installed? Because we do have a Bowflex here. So that is something. I like this question. Most Iowa guy who never went to Iowa.
Oh man.
So there's stylistically, and then there's the temperament, right? Who do you think, Ben?
I was thinking currently, Nick Soriano is an Iowa style guy.
Yes,
he would fit so well. And
do you know, during his recruitment, it was like understood he was going to Iowa, and like he maybe not necessarily verbal, but it was kind of like thought he was going to Iowa, like that was going to be what happened. And
really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
definitely.
I didn't know that.
And I think part of me wonders if they could go back in time if that wouldn't be the choice they go with. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah, I think
there's a good one on Facebook. They said Andrew Howe.
Andrew Howe for sure. Here's one. I mean, you want to talk stylistically, hand fighting killer. Freaking Aaron Pico. Now, he didn't even wrestle in college, but that dude, how hard he wrestled and how amazing he was at hand fighting and heavy clubs, he would have been a good one. Nathan Tomasello is an obvious one to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just like tenacious hand fighter, vicious leg attacker. So those kind of Imar. The dude wrestled really high pace, underhooks. That's a few.
I feel like Sebastian Rivera would be a pretty big heel if he went to Iowa.
Oh my gosh! If Sebastian Rivera went to Iowa, it'd be a wrap. That would have been
that'd
wild.
be going.
Okay. Okay. In support of The Last Dance and Bracky's insane hops, any wrestlers who are very good basketball players?
Wait, Bracky can jump?
Bracky
I got good jumps.
He can hoop. Bracky's pretty athletic guy. Have you not seen Kyle Brackey Dunkmaster?
No. What is it? What is this?
Oh my gosh, Kyle, retweet Dunkmaster. It's basically
on Twitter, Instagram.
It's on Twitter. It's basically a featured piece about Brackey. Hey, maybe we could show it. We could show it on the show. I don't know. We have technology. So I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I had the experience covering the OTC camp once at Colorado Springs, and they play basketball there between sessions and whatnot. So it's a big pickup game, and I was playing in it, and there's some terrible players like Yanni, super terrible, bad. Jared Verclaren, really, really bad. Caden G. Feller, pretty bad, but unbelievable confidence. You know who could really hoop?
Bad, but unbelievable confidence.
Unbelievable confidence. Dude, he was chucking it. He hit the game-winning shot. I remember. We have the video. Caden G. Feller hit the game-winning shot. But, all right, one guy, Gable Stevenson, really good. And then this dude, because I had to try to check him, Jesse Thielke can, like, straight up play. This dude is, like, really, I swear, he's really good at basketball. Not joking. He was good. Like, great jump shot. He's really athletic, kind of obviously. No, he could really play. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Kyvan Gadsden was pretty good. It was like years ago now. It was literally like 2014. Yeah. But those guys were really good. It was fun.
By the way, I found that poll. Almost 4,000 votes. David Taylor won.
Woo!
56% to 43.
All right. So I gotta get DT to give Kyle Brackey a bribe, and then we're golden or Nomad.
Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe it's Taylor. Maybe Taylor. My mind's open here. You know, David Taylor is really amazing folk styler. I could have been wrong 2 weeks ago. Who's to say? You know. I'm about inserting a little chaos. Okay, more questions. If you could give out one and only one red shirt to a wrestler from this past season, who would it be and why? So basically, you can pardon one athlete that they wouldn't have lost their year of eligibility to the coronavirus.
I hate this question.
Oh, you don't want to pick just one?
No, I don't want to pick just one. I mean, I'd like to give them all red shirts. But even if you just pick, I mean, I think the obvious one is Spencer, right? Because he's so close to 4 titles. But then, there's all the freshmen. You obviously took away every one of their opportunity to even get a title for the, we don't know what they're going to become, right? But I guess I think the obvious is Spencer, but that's kind of annoying that all, and I'll think about all like a Kolodzik or a Taylor Lujan. Yeah, sucks. It sucks for everybody.
Okay.
I think I'd go with Lujan or like Luke Pletcher.
Some senior. Yep. Colin, Luke,
Yeah.
Lujan, one of those type of guys. But yeah, Spencer's an obvious one, but I don't know. Yeah. It is a tough question.
Caleb's going to sue you too also.
Probably so. Skylar Wade, what are the best revenge matches of all time? Jenkins and Perry are obvious, but what others? I don't know.
Oh.
To me, it's just those two, right? I don't know how there's like a better revenge angle, and one revenge is maybe a little unfair with Bubba because I don't know. Was he wronged?
That's revenge. Did you?
Was he wronged?
Well, there
you
was
need to be wronged.
Yeah,
first.
hold on. Well, wronged in the mind of the person who thought he was wrong, but there was that one video where he said essentially like David stole my school, he stole my thing, that type of thing. And so yeah, I mean in his mind it was absolutely revenge. Yeah, I'm gonna put that right here. Hold on, I found it. Okay.
What'd you find?
Give me 1 second. It says he took my dream, my school, my home.
Okay, I could see.
Yeah,
but he really didn't. You made yourself ineligible. You did a lot of stuff that wasn't really compliant with how to remain in good standing at a Division I institution, right?
Well, I think he would argue with on the.
You can't argue. He admitted he you can't argue that he has said he made himself ineligible.
Yeah, I think he would say because of the way. I listen, and I'm not taking anyone's side on this. I'm just telling you both sides. I think he would say he did that because he saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah,
because he wanted his red shirt year, and he was going to be forced into wrestling, and that's why he did that. That's what he would tell you.
Yeah, well, okay. So it definitely is a revenge match. I know in the mind of Bubba, but and you know what? Maybe was Mark Perry necessarily wronged anyway? But his
his damn uncle chose Johnny Hendricks.
To me, it's that one. That one to me is just so much. I don't know. It's so much. The roots are so much deeper, right? It's like it's blood. This is the guy that was chosen over me in some ways, and that I could not beat and could not beat and could not beat. And every single match was validation of his uncle's decision to choose this guy over that guy, right? Every single loss is like a unsaid "I told you so," and then for that guy's last wrestling match of his entire career, you freaking beat him. That is unbelievable. That is still like just one of the craziest things to have ever happened. But I'm like, what are some other revenge matches? I can't really think of ones that really, one I would, it's like we're kind of looking at it from like program to program. Like it was Oklahoma State, the program that wronged Mark Perry. And it was Penn State, the program that wronged, I'm putting up fake quotation marks here for these guys in case you're just listening, for Bubba. But like, who is it? Because people are going to be like, he said they wronged Bubba Jenkins.
Well, Bubba would say it's David's fault. That's why that happened. And Mark Perry would say it's Johnny Hendricks' fault or John Smith's fault. Those guys have probably gotten older and mature, and maybe they would say that today. I don't know if they would or not. They would have said it when they were 22, though.
Yeah, for sure not. So, but what are just regular examples of, okay, this guy has beaten me, he has caused me pain, and now I'm finally going to get over the hump against him, right? Like, I'm trying to think of those examples as well. And I'm really kind of maybe I'm having a harder time, right?
Well, I think everything pales in comparison to the two examples that, we're already talking about. Everything else is kind of like not nearly as big of a deal.
Because you have both with the Hendricks one. You have he beat me so many times and literally didn't let me achieve my NCAA dreams. Yeah. But then you have also the other factor. So it's Hendricks for sure. And it was Chirella's revenge too through Mark Perry as we discussed.
Do you think he sent some Christmas cards for that?
Oh, maybe. Could have happened. Tannist of the decade. Kassar Ferrari, Lance Palmer, Jay Jaggers are basically all of Ohio State. Ask Lockhands. Peak Ohio. Jaggers. That guy got tanned. Him and Logan. As far as you've seen what they normally look like, and then you see them at like Big Tens and NCAAs, and it's just so different. I think that would be up there. I never found Kassar to be like insanely tanned. Lance Palmer is up there. Really, this tanning, it's the Ohio State is tanning
Ohio
venue.
State.
It's Ohio State.
They actually had. They had one in the locker room, right?
I know if it was in the locker room. I thought it was in like one of the player or wrestlers like apartments or something like that.
Oh, I just made that up.
Well, no, I think they did have access to one or something like that.
Really?
Something maybe, yeah. Well, clearly they had access, but I thought someone like maybe had one or they had like some connection. Okay. Do you think kids have an alien hour for conspiracies about how Santa isn't real and the other kids say they're crazy?
Dang.
Yeah. It's got to be possible, right?
Yeah. Like, do you think they're having those conversations? I'm like, yo, man, I'm not buying it, dude. Yeah. I'm not buying Santa. I'm not buying it. Where's the facts? And everyone's like, dude, he's like into. They go back to their parents. They're like, he's into some crazy stuff.
Crazy, Mom.
This dude, conspiracy theories. And then the moms are like, yeah, wow, what is that guy thinking?
What a nut job.
All the while. Okay. Matthew Klein, who once asked for interview advice, now is starting his job. He said, I got my job after hearing the great FRL interview advice. My first day is Monday. Any first day on the job advice? Okay. What advice, what are the things? Bracky has an uncanny ability to identify promise or red flags with employees when they start here. And he's oh yeah. He's got pretty good radar. And he'll be like, this is not going to work out. And then in several months, bye-bye. So it's pretty well honed. So what are some things you think that instead of advice, it's like, what are the red flags, the things to avoid in your mind, Kyle?
Dressing like a sketch ball.
Mm-hmm. A sketch ball?
Yeah, just don't dress like a sketchy person.
Yeah,
don't know. Like, dress like a normal person. I don't know.
Does that mean like a homeless person or like a thief or what does that mean? Exactly.
I don't. People that think they're like fashionable, they're not. I don't know what your dress code is at your office. You might not have a choice.
Don't be a tryhard.
Yeah, don't be a tryhard your first day. Don't offer up too much about yourself.
Yeah, don't be an oversharer.
There's like, I've heard some really weird things on like first days. I think that people are just like nervous and just like blurt stuff out.
Don't go in there trying to, wow people in day one. Just go in there. This is actually real talk. Go in there, be humble, open your ears, quiet your mouth, just ask questions, and learn and be humble and support your boss. That's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't talk a lot.
Yeah, don't talk a lot.
Just listen, observe. If you have questions, obviously ask them, but don't just be sharing your opinion. Your first day.
Yeah, quick.
Know your role.
Yeah, know your role. You don't know nothing. Don't start making big shake-up suggestions, okay? Figure out what you're doing and then win. How about that? Okay. Next one. That started.
I don't get to give any suggestions.
Oh yeah, Ben, who literally employs Keegan O'Toole. Why don't you Why don't you give us some management advice to Matthew Klein?
Well, I never actually had a first day at anything. I never had a real job in my life, so might not be the best guy to ask. Yeah, I mean, listen. I think those two things are huge. What you guys say? Be humble. Listen to what people are saying. Don't overshare. That's a big one. But at the same time, don't be timid. Sometimes you got to take charge, and people are going to appreciate that.
Yeah, you gotta find the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, this is a great question. If David Taylor wins NCAAs in 2013, would he have won the Hodge even with a loss?
That was the year Ed was undefeated, correct?
Yes.
No, Ed's winning it. Dumb
Even if he
question.
beats 3-time NCAA champion Kyle Dake.
He lost twice.
Once.
Ed's winning it.
Would have been once at that point.
Oh, because the other one was unofficial.
All-Star. Yeah.
People don't forget that. Though.
Ed.
People don't forget.
Yeah.
Ed. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too. Ed is. We should. You know what would be fun to do is we should rank the best wrestlers to never win the Hodge, because it would be a pretty ridiculous list. At least these last or the best seasons to not win a Hodge, right? You think about
Yeah,
Ed.
I think that.
Ed 13,
Nolf.
Nolf pick a
Nolf.
year, Nolf 17. 18 for sure, where it was ridiculous. 18's tough because he had the injury to fall and he got 6 at Big
Yes.
Tens. But
Sophomore, senior year.
sophomore, senior Nolf would be up there. 2011
Robles?
JO.
Robles?
2011 Robles and JO. Ness, the year Ness won, Varner's never won the Hodge, and he was an undefeated champion. There's quite a few really good seasons that didn't win the Hodge. Zane's sophomore year he didn't win. That's maybe that could be the best season.
That might be
win the
number
Hodge.
one.
Nomad says
yeah, you're
Stieber would have won the Hodge in 2013 if Dake lost.
Well, Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr. Ed Ruth got
Are you
second.
sure?
Ed got second that year in votes.
Yeah, it probably would have been Ed.
It was 100% Ed got
I'm
second.
just telling you what the Hodge master said.
Listen,
He's typing
Nomad,
again.
you're wrong. Deal with it.
look it up. I mean, Nomad, look at the votes. The votes were Ed was second over.
We all know the votes can be wrong. Well, no, I'm just saying they voted for the wrong person. Not
How many
necessarily
people-
that the votes are wrong.
Oh, wait.
They should have voted for Logan, but they voted for Ed. You see, not that the votes were counted wrong,
Okay.
just because they voted for the wrong person.
Well, who's to say? I mean, I think.
Nomad says that 2013 Stieber had a 5.2 dominance score, whipping ass on
Okay,
a regular basis.
what did Ruth have? Ruth was really high too, I bet.
Bruce was probably really good. He was.
I'm asking. He's typing.
Yeah, he's typing. So he could just Skype in, but instead he just
I
Yeah.
got second, but Stieber's numbers were way better. It's because Stieber missed 5 matches.
Stieber missed 5 matches.
I understand the votes. They were wrong.
Okay, but hey, you can't
Oh,
say
God,
you can't
no,
say
man.
Stieber would have won, but the votes were wrong here. So why could the votes not be wrong for Ed? That could happen. All right, we're not gonna converse back and forth, Nomad.
I'm looking up Ruth's NCAA that year because it was pretty ridiculous, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
Let's see.
absolutely. He was,
Fall 11-1. Well, you only beat Steve Bozak 4-1, and then he majored Robert Hamlin.
yeah, Steve Bozak, the returning champion at that weight.
Yeah.
If we remember. So he only beat a returning NCAA champion at that weight, 4-1. Got it. That's where the bar
Nomad's
is.
going to get us the stats, okay? So we can keep going. We'll circle back.
Stat it up. We'll circle back on that one. Okay, next one. I can't think of a ton of great examples, but maybe Ben or Bracky will remember some. Seeing Sammy Henson interview remind me of the greatest moment of gamesmanship I've ever seen, and I remember this vividly. When Sammy threw the challenge brick, and I'm Sparky Boo, man, good on you for remembering this, because this was an obscure consolation
There
match.
were 3 matches going on at the end of an NCAA session when this
We were.
happened.
I don't think we were leaving, but we were getting our stuff together because the session was over, and it was. When Sammy Henson threw the challenge brick to give Jake Smith a restart against Zach Nye at 2015 NCAAs. So basically, Zach Nye, really good on top. They're in tiebreakers. Has Jake Smith flat on his belly. Sammy challenges and asks for locked hands. knowing it didn't happen, knowing it didn't, but it got his guy a restart. Jake Smith got away and ends up winning the match. So that is definitely that is up there.
I'm gonna go with one of the many times that one of the Russians or Iranians paid the UWW or then FILA referees to recall a match and then change the winner.
Yeah, they have definitely done that. That's not gamesmanship. To me, it's like gamesmanship to me is like using the rules outside of their intended consequences, right? Like
I think
an example of gamesmanship is like icing the kickers. Kind of, it's gamesmanship, right? It's legal. It's fine. You can wait till 1 second left, call a timeout. You're not calling a timeout because you need to gather your team. You're calling a timeout to play a psychological game. That's gamesmanship.
Penn State not pulling Soriano out until the day before the NCAA
Oh,
tournament.
yes.
Oh, that was
To mess with Oklahoma State. That's number one. That's
number one.
you literally kept the kid out of NCAAs and jimmied the brackets knowing this guy's got a snapped ankle and he was never gonna
Jimmy. I haven't heard anyone use that word in a long time.
Bono tried to mess with Ohio State when he told them they were out of challenges at Big Ten.
That was so funny.
And they weren't. Like, the challenge coordinator was just standing behind the table. And Tervel had thrown the break, and Bo's like, you guys don't have any challenges left? And they, like, kind of looked at him for a second. They're like, yeah, we do. And then, like, the coordinator lady, like, looked at her paper. She's like, they have 3.
And I was like, so afterward they're like, boy, were you just messing with him? He's like, yeah, I don't know. Give it a shot. That's pretty madness. Yeah, so I guess Soriano would definitely be the biggest example of gamesmanship because it is legal. It's not against the rules, and it helped them. Okay.
Do you think there's a clause in the UWW handbook that says foreign officials can't pay referees to change their decisions? So it's not technically against the rules.
City wrestling guy, I'm sure it is. Can we get one surprise guest in episode? I actually thought about this. Like, have Ben or Bracky, one of you guys, just coordinates a random guest. It doesn't have to be like a surprise, like, oh, it's like a gotcha against me or Bracky or Ben.
Well,
but just like,
I'm gonna come honest with you here, Piles. When you voted against Dake, I tried to get him to come on to yell at you, and he said he didn't want to give you the satisfaction.
oh my gosh.
I have the stats, by the way. Stieber was 27-0 with 1 forfeit, 23 out of 26 bonus, 14 pins, 7 techs, 2 majors, 2 decisions. 2 of the decisions were against Ramos. 1 was against McCormick when he got hurt. Ruth, 33-0, 26 bonus, 12 pins, 4 techs, 10 majors.
It's pretty freaking good.
Both of them are good. Obviously, yeah. Stieber's slightly better there, but I guess I'd have to look at the competition also.
Yeah, he beat.
He
had to beat a returning champ. He had a returning champ.
Let's see. I know what I can do here. I'll tell you guys who the All-Americans in those brackets were this year. So that year it was 33 Stieber Ramos, Graf Shop, Morrison Dardanes, Brewer Nate McCormick at 184, Ruth Hamlin, Bosak Ben Bennett, Lofthouse Sheptalk, Loader, Mike Larson.
Larson got on the podium that year. I forgot that.
Missouri guy's 8th in both those brackets.
All right.
Do you want to know? You know this story, CP. The biggest gamesmanship I've ever seen.
Tell me.
Was it happened in West Virginia high school wrestling.
Oh my gosh, this is a crazy story, Ben.
So
buckle up.
Brandon Rader, 2-time All-American for West Virginia, was a senior in high school. And Parkersburg High School, where I went, and Parkersburg South were top 2 teams in the state that year, as they are most years. But we are in the same region to qualify for the state tournament. So you have to take 4th in the region to go to the state tournament. And South had a kid who, a top 3 or 4 kid in the state, supposed to be in the finals against Brandon later that day. He gets upset. They're looking at the brackets, and they're like, if Brandon loses in the semis, he could drop down, hit this kid in the Conti semis, and keep him from going to the state tournament, thus eliminating a nice chunk of points for South the next weekend at the state tournament. And so,
but it's predicated on Brandon Rader taking a dive, basically, because no one in the country could beat this guy, much less in the West Virginia region.
Yeah, I think he lost in the Beast finals to Adam Frey. Like, he was top 2-3 kid in the country. He'd never lost a match in the state of West Virginia in his high school career, so he's gonna have to lose a match. So they go to Brandon. Brandon's brother was on staff, and they go to Brandon. They're talking to him about it. Like, it's up to you, man. You make the decision. We're going to be fine either way. We believe we're going to win either way, but it's up to you. And he decided to do it. So in the semis, they started the match, and then he called injury time a few seconds in, and then the other kid won.
Did he try to pretend he was hurt, or was it very?
I don't know. I wasn't there. And so anyways, he drops down. He beats his kid. He keeps him from going to state. They were in this thing went to court.
What?
Yeah, I don't even remember what South was trying to say. I think they tried, like, Brandon had to, like, show that he was hurt because he did have to have surgery on his knee after the season. It was a whole thing. But Brandon essentially risked. He was 3-time state champ and risked losing to this kid. He wasn't going to lose, obviously, but what if you get headlocked or you get cradled or something?
Yeah.
Happened to Logan Stever.
Yeah, it happened to Logan Stever. So, anyways, they do that.
Wait, when?
Really?
Damn it! Joke's on me. Oh God. I should just.
Oh, so funny.
So, anyways, Brandon beats the kid. He qualifies for state. The other kid doesn't. The kid tried to petition into the state tournament. He didn't get in. PHS had the state tournament locked up by Friday night.
Woo! Go Big Reds.
That's right.
Wow, that's a wild one. That stuff happens variations of that happens a lot, where you have guys, because in Virginia they basically release the bracket before regionals or before states even. So if I finish this at my region, I will have this region's X seed in round 1, and then I'll have these guys on my quarter, my side. So you would know, hypothetically, if you had the best guy in your region, it was advantageous at times to be the 4 seed and not the 3 seed coming out of region, because then you could avoid the number 1 guy or whatever the scenario would be. So this was happening all the time, that guys were happening. I remember it with, who was it? It was one of the Christiansburg guys. It was maybe Devin. Devin was going to be no one's beating Devin Carter, right? Or someone of that nature. And so people were forfeiting in their regional finals so that they wouldn't hit Devin or whoever the Christiansburg guy was in the finals, right? And it was a huge stink because both teams had the same idea at the same time. I think one of them was fuck here. And anyways, and they raced to forfeit first, and then they both forfeited in the finals.
God.
They both ended up forfeiting, so they ended up but there had to be a 1 and there had to be a 2, so it was like whoever forfeited first got second. It was a total mess. It was a thing in the papers. I'm trying to remember which Christiansburg kid it was.
Oh man,
they had so many good ones back then, but that definitely happened. I bet. I guarantee if Jason Bryant's listening, I guarantee you he knows.
Mason Beckman brought up a good one. Great example of gamesmanship was Zahid telling Zeke to throw the brick in the CKLV finals against Bo Jordan.
100%.
Zahid looked like he was running out of gas and got himself a break.
I remember that because I remember that. Well, one, I was calling the match, and then afterwards, Martin chided me for not basically calling it what it was, which is he's like, you were too diplomatic. Zeke was just getting his guy a lunger 100%, and everyone knew it, and I didn't say it.
So why didn't you say it?
I don't know. I don't remember what I said. You're just sitting there, and you're like, oh, okay.
That was when
normally I do, but I don't know. In this instance, I just didn't.
So I was over at the table getting social clips, and I was also, if there was a review, I would jump up on the computer and pull it up for the officials really quick. And for some reason, it didn't show up on the computer right away. And so I was looking over to our production team to get them to come over and help out. And then Tom Ryan just starts yelling at me. He's like, quickly, please, quickly. And then finally it came up, but it was like, all right, I'm trying.
Yeah, you had to be sweating there a little bit. Okay, so it's 9:44, and there was a question I really wanted to get to, but we're not gonna have time. Teague Moore asked.
Let's do it.
No, we don't have time. I want to move it on to the next one, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is a long one. Should we shift the college season from January 1 to late April? Give athletes one full semester to certify and finish finals without competitions. I think we should. I think that's obviously Coach Moore and other coaches think this would be a good idea. So I think it's worth discussing. So I don't want him to think we were not. We were ignoring this question because I think it's a good one. All kidding aside, I think it's probably time to go. 9:44. We had fun. Listen, the Dake thing is funny. It's funny to me. Landmining for Dave Taylor because I'm a Penn State hater, right? So you know it's funny.
Hater.
Keep them on their toes. Am I a hater? Am I a Dake hater? Am I a Bros fan? Who am I going to pick for the finals? We have the finals coming up. Who knows? Who's to say? Are we going to do full wrestlebacks like the Nomad suggested?
No.
We need to have him on to go through his wrestlebacks, though, I feel like.
Okay.
Third place match. We could have Taylor versus Nickel. Third place match.
No. Taylor's in the finals, brother.
Oh, what the hell are you doing, Christian?
I'm messing with you. Just like you like to mess with me. Get a taste of your own medicine, Benjamin. Hey.
When did Steamer get pinned, though? I was confused still.
It was a cradle. He got cradled. I don't know what to say. Hey, thanks to Kayla Miracle for coming on. Thank you for listening. 490 strong. We'll see you Tuesday for 491. Have a great weekend. Be safe. It's getting better all the time. We'll see you then. Appreciate you.
Peace.